This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Great friends, what's up? Kaplan and Crew. With just the crew today, Alex Padilla and John Browner with you guys. No joke, Browner. Right now is the first words I have spoken today.
Oy.
This is the first time I open my mouth, and it's not bad. It is not bad. I was fully not sure what today was going to sound like. I had no voice yesterday whatsoever. It bounced on me. If you remember, we're recording our Holistics Highlights podcast.
Oh, dude, your last words were rough.
And I asked the guy a question, and my voice was like, yeah, I'm tapping out here. And I text you guys in the middle of the podcast. I just text you guys, yo, I'm done talking because my voice is gone. And my fiance freaked out. She was totally like, you have COVID. You got to take a test. You got to start drinking this and that. I don't have COVID and I didn't take anything. I was just like, dude, this is just a voice thing. And I have no idea where this is coming from. I feel 100%. I rode the Peloton yesterday. Me and my girl went on a 4-mile walk yesterday with the dog. Like, I feel absolutely fine, but my voice is shoddy. And I would say it's obviously not 100. For me, I can hear it's not 100%. But man, I text you guys. I was like, hey, I'll keep you posted. This might be a best of day today, but here we are. Rolling.
You sounded way worse with those last words on the Holistic Highlights podcast than I think I've ever heard you sound. Like ever. Like it just nothing good was coming out. It just sounded like you had a huge loogie in your throat and your voice box was just being overran by mucus. It was terrible.
And it's funny because there was no mucus. There was nothing. It was literally nothing. Like, there is no mucus in here right now. There's nothing. It's literally just a shot voice. Like, I don't know what happened. This weekend, my girl wasn't here, so I wasn't even talking, really. I was by myself. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go to a concert. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't singing. I have no idea what happened. And I remember, Browner, and you'll hear this. You can watch this podcast on Monday when it comes out. Holistics Highlights on YouTube. Go check it out if you haven't yet. We still need to add a ton of subscribers. It's embarrassing the views that it's getting right now. So can you guys please go to Holistics Highlights, subscribe to the YouTube page, or on any audio podcast, Holistics Highlights.
You know what we need to do a better job of? Promoting stuff. We are the worst promoters ever. We don't promote things very well. I mean, now part of that is because we don't spend money on promoting, but that's one of the things where we should have, like, hey, you budget. Here's some advertising in there. Yeah.
Or them or Tori.
Someone should have thought of this before we got to the point of how many views is this?
But now we're knocking them out, and now people can go back and watch them, because I personally think like the first couple we're still figuring it out, to be honest. I felt like the one we recorded yesterday was one of our best, to be like, it was a free-flowing conversation. We were making jokes. The dude was laughing. I sounded like ass, but still, it was like one of our best. I think we're kind of getting to that point now where I'm down to promote it. There was a few that I was like, yeah, I don't really care if everybody doesn't watch this. This one needs a little bit of work, but like, I think that people should go check it out. But no, getting back to my point, I was in the middle of asking him a question about something, and in my head, I was like, why am I talking right now? Like, why am I even trying to force this right now? I literally cleared my throat, nothing there. And I'm like, sorry. And then I finished the question and I was like, I got to stop talking. And I can feel it now. I could feel the more I'm talking, it's going to fade today again. Like, I literally didn't talk yesterday till today, and now I'm feeling it. It's going to go again at some point. Hopefully we can make it through this whole show, but we're here now. So if you're listening on mightier 1090, if you're watching here on YouTube, if you're listening on audio podcasts on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, any Stitcher, people came up to us at the Egg Fest saying, hey, I listened to you on Stitcher. I was like, oh, dope, dude. Like, I don't care where you listen, just listen. It's literally all the same to me. I don't care if you watch, if you listen, but we appreciate everybody, especially days like when Scott's not here. I appreciate anybody checking in with us. I know the Padres played earlier today. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the historic night and Wrigley Field. Man, the Cubs suck.
No,
Let's
don't
just
you do that.
straight up, bro.
No. I'm not going to let you come in here and do that.
No.
What I'm going to say right now to every person skeptical of the offense, are you not entertained?
Yes, I am
Are
entertained.
you not entertained? What more? 21 hits. What more do you need? What is my recipe for winning? Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not complaining, but the Cubs have lost a lot in a row. They give up a lot of runs
in a row.
Well, I don't know what happened today yet. That's why. But I think the Yankees put up 18 on them on Sunday. Then obviously the 19 last night, the 12 the night before. Doesn't matter. Get the wins. It looks great.
They've lost 9 straight.
We'll talk about
possibly
that.
10.
Yeah. As we enter today's show, they've lost. We're gonna proceed today as if we're entering today's day. So we'll talk about that. Manny Machado got his 1500 hit on Wednesday night. Manny Machado. It's really cool to see the national media kind of prop up the guy now because he was such a villain for a while there, you know? And I feel like I remember when he was a Dodger in that World Series, I was a big hater of Manny Machado. I thought his antics, I'll call them antics, were like just they were hilarious because nobody would ever do it. And everybody was making like a huge deal with the things he was doing in that World Series. But now that he's on your team, that's all kind of gone away. It really has. Like you don't hear about he gets booed everywhere. That's not new.
Right.
But as far as like national media, I feel like as of yesterday, at least, he was getting a lot of props. He was getting a lot of credit for the career he's had so far. He's been a pro for such a long time. He's only 29, about to be 30, I believe, July 6th. So for him to get his 1,500 hit on top of the 250 home runs he already has, and to only be the 16th player or 17th player to ever do it, it's really remarkable, and we'll talk about that too.
I think that we, again, I keep saying this team is different from last year's team. And I know they brought the majority of the cast of characters back. They brought a couple new pitchers in, but this team is moving and operating at a different frequency than they did last year. And the evidence is look at the way that they take care of business. One series after the other series after the other series. And none of the negativity, like from the Cardinals series, is bleeding over into the next series. Yeah. They really have a next day, next man up mentality, and it is permeating throughout the entire roster because everyone, everyone is stepping up and coming through. Like yesterday was a great day for everyone in that dugout because it was almost as if batting practice broke out, and you're going to get one of those.
It did break out.
You're going to get one of those a year for your team where you against one team, everybody's going to get a hit. It's going to feel great. It's going to be fun. And that's what yesterday was. Yesterday was a game you could turn off in a good way. Like, okay, we won this. I don't need to see this anymore. You want more of those. You want a lot more of those.
Here you go, nerd. It was the first game in Padres history. You hear that? It was the first game in Padres history in which every starter had at least one hit, one RBI, and one run scored.
And not to mention,
that includes Eric Hosmer.
My dog Weathers he had a rough start.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see him again.
The only thing that was reminiscent of last season was that performance.
Yeah,
man, that performance.
Man.
I don't think they did him any favors either by bringing him up because he's clearly been struggling this year in AAA. And I know you didn't want to bring it up, but I mean, it's just a fact. He's been struggling in AAA all season. He's got a 7+ ERA. So I wasn't the least bit surprised that he struggled yesterday. Going 3 2/3, giving up 4 runs with 4 walks. Did he walk 2 runs in?
I thought one of the major things was when they got 2 in the first for him. And I was like, okay, boom. They gave him 2. He's going to figure this out. He's got a nice little cushion. He can kind of just go out and pitch. And the second inning, just like Come
Yeah.
on, guy. Come on,
I
man.
honestly don't need to see him again. I don't think they need to do that to him again. I think he's got to figure. I mean, he's going through. I think we're just the difference is, I believe he's going through what Gore went through. We're just seeing it, like all the mental problems that we read about Mackenzie Gore and all the stuff he was struggling with.
Right.
I think we're just seeing it with Ryan Weathers because when Gore was going through all that stuff, supposedly it was during there was no minor league baseball because of COVID. So we didn't get to see any of the struggles. We didn't get to physically watch him play baseball because there was no minor leagues. As far as Ryan Weathers goes, I think he's going through learning curves the same way Mackenzie Gore did. It's being televised and you can watch it. You can go to the game and see him struggle. I just think that's the difference.
I would prefer to see him again for this simple fact. This is the best place for him to learn. Because I get what's happening in the minors. I understand that. Your best coaches are here. The best team morale is here. The best possible energy he will find is here. And so
But the results matter here. That's why I don't want to see it here.
then bring him out of the bullpen. I think he needs active appearances at high levels to be successful because we've seen him pitch at this level. And if he can or can't do it, while you don't need it, this is the time to find out. Like I get that we're in a race with the Dodgers, and this race feels real. It doesn't feel like last year where we're like, okay, we're only 2 games out, we're only 3 games out. This feels real. This feels like we have a fighting chance at winning a head-to-head battle with them in the division. But at the same time, as I look at it, we're going to need consistency from the bullpen. And we haven't been able to get that. And one of the ways to explore more options than that is to let Ryan Weathers kind of figure some of his hiccups out up here. Because down there isn't working. It's just not working. So
Well, it takes time, man. I think that's the difference is, there's with pitchers, it's not always going to be at such a young age like Mackenzie Gore. I mean, you look at last night or the 2 nights ago, Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers. He made his major league debut when he was 26 years old. Like it takes time to figure. And Gonsolin, he's a really, really good pitcher now for the Dodgers, and he's 28 now. So I just think it's different for pitchers. I think that if you were a non-contending team, then I would say I would agree with you. But I just think right now the results matter too much to have him figure it out up here. There's a reason why CJ Abrams isn't up here. He's figuring it out down there, and he's excelling in AAA at the moment. I just think there's a reason. Like if you're the Reds, then yeah, you don't have really anything to lose because you're gonna win 40 games this year. So I just think that it matters too much to have even come out of the bullpen. I mean, Lamet's not up here. Lamet was supposedly healthy, but he's struggling. So they didn't. It matters too much this season, Brown. I think when you're in this race with the Dodgers, a half a game matters. A performance like that matters.
but I think when you have players who you figure to play big in your organization, they need these type of looks. They need these type of windows, the pre-All-Star break window, not really the post-All-Star break, because that's when it gets more real. And this is where I wouldn't necessarily want him out there working on himself. But at this point where you are seeing this team find a real chance, pre-All-Star break, guys start to check out a little bit.
But this isn't also like his 6th start.
Right.
He's played for the Padres, I want to say 20 starts already. So it's not like he hasn't had the opportunity to do what you're saying and figure it out.
But
he's had that opportunity.
But he has been good. So this isn't a situation.
But he hasn't been good for a very long time.
But this isn't a situation where he was never good and it never made any sense. Like there have been flashes of him at this level being successful. And if I'm them, that's what I'm hoping to bring out of him, and not performances like yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's a differing of opinion. Obviously, I don't know if he's going to get another start, but I know that if it was me, I wouldn't give him another start right now. I would have him go down. I just think that they did it because they didn't want to screw with the success of the rotation that they've been having. They didn't want to move everybody up. So I would be surprised if he gets another start. I really would. I do think that it's a possibility just because I don't think Clevenger is going to come off the IL. Obviously, he's not coming off the IL for the Colorado series. They've already announced the lineups going up there. So, I don't know, man. It's just something that I wouldn't do. But it's also something that we don't necessarily have to, like last season, it would be a worrisome type of issue. It would be a very worrisome issue because you were relying on Ryan Weathers.
Right.
This year, it's not such. That's why also it's not so worrisome because you can send him down because you don't need him. It was a spot start. He can go back down to AAA. I think it's a mental thing more than anything. I mean, you could look at those pitches that he was throwing fastballs in the second inning when he gave up the 2 walks for the 2 runs. Like they're not even close. They're not even close. Is that a mechanical thing? I don't know. Is that a mental thing? I think so. So Browner, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another start. But if it were up to me, I wouldn't do it.
I hope he does. He does.
Why no? He's the Padres' best pitcher.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, now it's Mackenzie Gore, but
now it's Mackenzie Gore. Yeah. Even after the last performance.
I ain't worried about that.
Okay.
I ain't worried about that at all.
I mean, the last time you labeled someone the Padres' best pitcher, it turned into Weathers. So I really don't want you to do that to Gore.
Again. That last start, we'll be all right.
We'll get more into the Manny Machado stuff, the Padres. But last night, were you watching the Dodgers Angels?
Why the hell would I be watching that?
Because I was not watching it. I was out and about, but I was keeping track of the game because Tyler Anderson was throwing a no-hitter. And he got the no-hitter all the way to the 9th inning with 1 out. You're not watching it all. No interest at all.
No hitters do nothing for me. Nothing.
What about keeping tabs on your first and second place NL West? That does nothing for you?
We had already we were taking, like I said, we had taken care of business. There was no reason for me to if we win, I don't need to see what they do. What's happening?
What's going on with you back there?
I don't know, man. This TV is weird. This TV's got a mind of its own.
It's because you use it as a real TV as well.
Yeah, that's true. I should put it on. I should put it on like display.
If you're listening on radio, you have no idea what we're talking about. John Browner's TV behind him in his studio is acting up, and it's like turning off and turning on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're talking about. Anyways, yesterday, Tyler Anderson, 8 1/3, no hit baseball, and your boy coming through.
Tyler Anderson to Shohei Ohtani. That's a line drive to right. Betts won't get there. And Ohtani breaks up the no-hitter with 1 out in the 9th inning. He does it with a triple. 8 1/3 no-hit innings for Tyler Anderson. Ohtani breaks it up. What a performance from that man right there.
Your boy, Shohei. Doing everybody a favor, breaking that no-hitter up. By the way, you see him fly? He's fast, too.
Look, man. Did you see the score?
Yeah, they lost, but at least he got the no-hitter out the way. So
Cool.
My take of the Angels finishing above 500 might be the worst thing I've ever said. That might be a Brown Facts hot take, but I'm sticking with it. It's a long season.
It ain't long enough for them. At the rate they going, they are not good. And I mean like not good as in not good. They're 10 games out of first place. Remember when we were having a conversation about how close they were to first place? It was like a game and a half.
Well, they were in first place for a long time.
Now they're 10 and a half games out.
That's what happens when you lose 14 in a row. The Padres lose 14 in a row. I think they would be in 3rd or 4th place.
Which is where the Angels are. So
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that because I also want to talk about the Dodgers who continue to find ways to win, even though Walker Buehler is out. Clayton Kershaw's just coming back. There's these two guys, Tony Gonsolin, Tyler Anderson. Like, what the hell? I thought they didn't have pitchers this year, and all of a sudden they got 2 aces. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals with I don't know if he's my former coworker.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how to label him because he got a promotion, so he doesn't work for silverscreenandroll.com anymore. Harrison Faigen. He's now the managing editor of SB Nation NBA. He got a big promotion. We're going to talk NBA Finals, John. Guess what, dude? I'm all in tonight.
Oh, my God.
I'm all in. I love elimination games. I am all in tonight. I'm ready to watch Game 6 Clay tonight. because I'm really hoping the Warriors not only win, but to do it in Boston in front of those freaking people. I mean, who doesn't want to see? Unless you live in Boston or you're a Boston Celtics fan, no one's rooting for you today. Nobody.
It's gonna be lit tonight.
It's gonna be great tonight, and that's what is that? 6 p.m. tip
Yep.
tonight. 6 p.m. tip tonight. We'll talk to Harrison Faigen about the NBA Finals. Did you know, Browner, that the Chargers are gonna move to Dallas, Texas?
To do what?
To move. They will be the Dallas Chargers. I'll explain what I'm talking about there as well, because that story was hilarious. We'll talk about Manny Machado and the night he had at Wrigley. And also, since Scott's not here, are we allowed to talk like TV now? Like, can we talk about like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Can we talk about Stranger Things? Can we talk about things that he never would watch, but I think both of us are?
We can even talk Jurassic Park.
I would love to, because I won't watch that. So we'll get into a lot of random stuff. But when we come back, my boy Harrison Faigen from SB Nation will get us ready for the NBA Finals. We'll talk Lakers, because you can't turn the TV on without someone talking about the Lakers. It's ridiculous. Also, a trade in the NBA. How is there trades? The season's still happening.
Right.
What the hell? Anyways, we'll talk about this. Kaplan and crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
Please welcome in tax attorney Adam Brewer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us again on Main Street Living.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be back.
So, of course, we have more tax questions for you. First of all, what are the types of business entities that business owners can use?
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd ask this question. So this time of year, this is when, business owners probably just got handed a pretty big tax bill. And so naturally, the next question is, how can they save taxes? How can they save on taxes? And so that's where these business entities really, they may come in. So what we're looking at is corporations or limited liability companies, more commonly called LLCs. So definitely by using either a corporation or an LLC, business owners may be able to really save on taxes. For the most part, when we talk about tax savings, we're looking at like an S Corp election. And so again, an LLC can do that, a corporation can do that. But the net result is you want to save on what's called self-employment tax. So for 2022, a business owner is going to, by default, pay self-employment tax on the first $147,000 of taxable income. So that's 15.3%. By doing an S Corp election, putting yourself on payroll, you can really drive down how much of your income you have to pay that 15.3% at. Beyond the tax savings, it just offers an extra level of protection between the business owner's personal assets, say their home, and their business operation. So, no matter what business you operate, you're going to have some exposure to liability. So an entity like a corporation, like an LLC, it just puts that extra level of protection between the business and then what the owner has on their personal side.
Yeah, well, clearly a plethora of information that you always provide to us, Adam. We appreciate you being on the show. Where can our viewers get in touch with you for more tax help?
Yeah, like always, they can visit my website, triumphovertax.com, or feel free to pick up the phone. You can always give me a call, 619-591-9500.
Main streets are the heart of our communities, where we connect with our neighbors, support local businesses, and share new adventures. Main Street Living celebrates all of this, bringing you uplifting stories with guests from across the country and your community. From our street to your street. Main Street Living, Mondays at 9 on Your View.
Main Street Living celebrates Pride Month in partnership with Subaru of El Cajon, an extraordinary experience for everyone.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
Yo, welcome back, everybody, to Kaplan and Crew with just a crew today. Alex Padilla, John Browner with you guys. Scott out today and tomorrow. He's out in Pittsburgh for something. He didn't really describe what he was doing. I didn't get it, at least, if you did describe what he was doing. But we'll all be back on Monday. I don't think we're taking Monday off. That's a holiday for a lot of people, but he will be back on Monday. We will be back together on Monday. Right now, joining us to talk a little NBA Finals, because I'm all in now, Browner. Like I told you the segment before, I'm all in on the NBA Finals. Finally, now that we get to an elimination game. Editorial manager of SB Nation NBA, Harrison, and my former boss, my former coworker, my current coworker. I don't know, what are you to me anymore, but Harrison, it is so pleasure to see you, man.
Yeah, that's a good question of like what our technical relationship is. I'm still like sort of running SSR, so I think I'm kind of still your boss, but not really.
Yeah.
That's sort of Anthony. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who to respond
I won't tell
to,
you anything to do right now on the air, just to make sure that we're good there and we're clear corporate.
I took Tuesday of Memorial Week off when I normally podcast, and I asked Anthony if that's okay. So I guess my chain of command went straight to Anthony.
You at the very least respect him more, clearly. So that's what we know. Maybe. That it wasn't a slight to you. I was just like, well, he doesn't, I don't know. So I just went straight to Anthony. Yeah, he's the podcast guy. Okay. I think you asked the right guy.
Okay, cool. How is the new gig? You got a promotion? Are you still working from home? Or did you move anywhere?
I'm still working from home. I'm working even more from home now because, I don't have to go to Lakers game or go to games or cover games specifically anymore. So yeah, I'm watching, the whole league, which right now is just 2 teams. So it's a lot easier than, it will be obviously when next season starts. But yeah, I love the new job so far. It's been fun. Just kind of not having to worry about every single Lakers Russell Westbrook update. I can just kind of enjoy the chaos from afar. It's just one of the 30 teams I, pay attention to now. So that's great.
Yeah. The big pain is going to be Orlando in January. No one wants to watch that.
I mean, I don't have to. That's our Magic Blog's job. So I'm good. I just watch whatever I want. I'm a national insider now, baby.
Look at you. Whoa.
So like national NBA talk shows. Insider. They're still talking about Lakers.
He just gave you all you need to know. He is a NBA insider. That's it. Right. That's it. That's the title. That's your title. Right. That's your title. You're a national NBA insider.
I'm just going to start prefacing every opinion I have with sources now. I think I'm legally allowed to.
I don't know. I think you're now legally obligated to do so.
Yeah, I'm a source. So, I think that's it. You guys are source. If I just say league source, that could mean anyone around the league.
That's you now. That's you. Mm-hmm. That's you. We can come on this show and go, we spoke to a league source. That's you.
Yeah.
It's true.
No, literally,
I'm a source of information about the league. I think you guys are, in the clear there.
This show officially now has 2 league sources. George Sedano and Harrison Faigen. Boom.
Yeah, I'd say Sedano's probably a little more plugged in than I am, but just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Don't do that to yourself.
Nah.
Don't do that.
Why? Just because he's on the sidelines? Nobody tells him anything.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, just that whole sideline reporter thing where he gets private meetings with the coaches.
If you get sick, just say you're in health and safety protocol like he did. You're a source now. You're a source.
We gave him so much grief because he got COVID. He's all good now, so we can make fun of it now.
Right.
But he got COVID. And he was, instead of saying, hey, everybody, I got COVID, he tweeted, hey, I'm in the league's health and safety protocol. We're like, bro, are you in the league? Did you put yourself in there or did the league put you in there? So
he's the broadcast partner. I think he's allowed to say that. I think he has the street cred.
I want to get COVID. I don't want to get COVID, but if I get COVID, I want to put myself in any leagues. If in baseball, hey, I'm on the COVID IL list for the next 10 days. Now I think, Harrison, you can do that. As an NBA insider, you now have that ability to put yourself in the NBA.
All your signatures. Health and safety protocol.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm just, working from home. I'm permanently in the health and safety protocols. I am as health and safety as I can be in my apartment,
Facts.
Yep. Facts. So, all right, let's talk basketball, I guess, because tonight is game 6 of the NBA Finals. It hasn't been the best of finals, obviously, if you're watching. We haven't really had that fourth quarter come down to the wire game yet. I don't think in the playoffs, it feels like. I don't remember any close game that's gone down to the wire, unless I'm mistaken. But especially in these NBA Finals, there have been good games. The score hasn't been close. As far as tonight goes, is tonight the closeout game, or do we go to game 7?
I mean, I don't want to jinx it. I certainly am, and I am, as a, recovering Lakers beat writer and, longtime Laker fan since childhood. Like, I am certainly hoping the Warriors will close it out tonight so that I won't have to watch the Celtics, potentially play one game to eclipse the Lakers and banners on Sunday. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the Warriors, the last 2 games really, you mentioned not necessarily having the closest final scores. Last game, I really thought that we were going to get that. The Celtics looked like they were making a run there for a while in the fourth quarter. It was pretty tight in the third quarter, excuse me. It was pretty tight in the third quarter until the Warriors kind of pulled away. I think the Celtics ran out of gas a little bit, making that ridiculous comeback in the third and shooting the lights out. I don't know that was necessarily sustainable. The Warriors went to seemingly every team against the Celtics fourth quarter strategy of just like trying to force the ball to Marcus Smart because he will continue to shoot it. And it doesn't matter how many in a row he's missed, or how open they're leaving him, he is going to fire away. And so, I think the Warriors have figured some things out. And just the fact that they were able to win last game with Steph maybe playing maybe his worst playoff game ever. I don't know that offhand, I cannot think of a less efficient, worse game than he's played than that. And he wasn't terrible. He just, he didn't hit threes, and the threat of his spacing still allowed Wiggins and the rest of the Warriors to do things. So he wasn't useless by any means, but that was maybe his worst individual playoff game ever. And that they were able to win, I don't anticipate, unless he's dealing with some massive injury we don't know about, that, the Celtics are going to get that lucky against him or, missing that many shots tonight.
I thought that what we saw in game 5 was really an overflow of game 4, because this feels like how a 7-game series usually goes when the smarter team can figure out what the other team is doing. Because it feels like the Warriors have taken all the Celtics punches. Ime Udoka has pulled all the levers he possibly can to give the Celtics a fighting chance, because as a whole, the Warriors have more experience and it's showing. They're winning games, getting nothing from Draymond when he does Draymond stuff, getting relatively little from Clay, but he's still a threat by being out there. And of all people, Andrew Wiggins has shown himself to be good. And so when you look at the box score at the end of the night, and Jason Tatum has been outplayed by Andrew Wiggins on a night where Steph Curry didn't make a 3, it looks like a bizarro land. But at this point, I think that the Warriors have pretty much figured out what the Celtics want to do, and now they're beginning to exploit it, because that third quarter barrage of threes they had was reminiscent to the first game where they did it in the fourth quarter. And so the Warriors just didn't have time to re-gauge and then reattack, but they did in game 5, and that was the result.
Yeah, and Wiggins was unbelievable. I'm you said of all, I think you said Wiggins of all people. I mean, I was that was my reaction while watching it. It's is that Andrew Wiggins going off in a Is he
are you talking about the All-Star Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah, big game Wiggins, I think they're calling him.
Man.
He's
He looked like James Worthy when he playing like this.
It was unbelievable. He was taking guys in isolation. He was playing the KD role for Golden State, basically. When they had those runs where they were, they needed a bucket, they were going to somebody in isolation. And this time it was just Andrew Wiggins. And it was the fact, I didn't even think about it like that, but the fact that he's outplayed Jason Tatum in a finals game is sort of incredible and has to be acknowledged. I know he's a former #1 overall pick, but prior to this year, he had never really shown anything that made me believe that he was capable of something like he's shown in these finals where he's been so good. And I still think, I think we're at the point where we can start talking about finals MVP, because the Warriors could theoretically clinch tonight. I still think for the overall body of work over all the games, it should still be Steph if the Warriors win. But Wiggins had me thinking about it the other night. We all have
here's another game. tonight like he did the last game, he might win MVP.
We all have goldfish brain. And so like we all remember like the last game most recently. And it's like, I know logically, if you look at the stats for the series, if you look at the impact, if you look at the overall, it should be Steph. But I'm like, I also just watched game 5 and I'm like, but Wiggins, maybe? I don't know. Like I really, that was fun.
If Andrew Wiggins repeats performances from 4 and 5 again in 6, there will be a legit conversation. The 40-point game Steph had, that was magnificent. But without Andrew Wiggins, they're down 3-2, not up 3-2. And I think the fistbowl moment, right, of what Steph Curry did in game 4 really kind of left people going, well, even if they lose, he's the finals MVP, which I never understood why people keep doing that. But nevertheless.
Well, it's also a weird take for after game 4. Like,
right.
When the series is tied 2-2, it's like, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 games. Like,
and if these 2 games are dominated, like Andrew Wiggins, I came to him saying this, dominated the last game. By the way, shooting terribly from 3. If Andrew Wiggins then dominates this game, you have no choice but to give him the Andre Iguodala version of the NBA Finals, where it goes, we're going to give it to you because for some reason we just can't give it to Steph.
If Andrew Wiggins wins the Finals MVP this year, they have to just rename it after Andre Iguodala. Just the Andre Iguodala role player who went off award. Like it's no longer the Finals MVP. It's
the Bill Russell. Is it the Bill Russell MVP trophy?
I think that they got to rename it after Andre Iguodala. With all due respect to Bill Russell, if Wiggins wins it this year, it's the Warriors role player who went off Memorial Award.
So we're talking to Harrison Faigen, the editorial manager of SB Nation NBA. You brought it up earlier, and I've heard this talking point as well. The Celtics did go 7 games against Miami. They did go 7 games against Milwaukee. Those were very tough physical series. How much of that is in play right now? How much of them being tired, how much of them being worn out is in play right now? Is it possible that they're just kind of out of gas? Like Tatum hasn't been as excellent as he was in the previous series?
I definitely think that, I think we have to consider it a factor, right? Like playing that many games against that many good teams, that many hard fought contests, kind of down to the wire. I mean, of course that's going to wear you down. We all have a working set of eyes and can see the playoffs are way, way different than the intensity of the regular season. Like the basketball has gone up a massive level during this postseason, maybe as much as I can ever remember in terms of almost being a different sport, in terms of how teams game plan, how intense everyone's playing. Like it's been awesome. Even if there have been some blowouts along the way, there have been probably too many blowouts along the way. But the games that have been close have been really great, high level basketball. And, I think Tatum is doing the Paul Pierce trip to the locker room like almost every game where he's getting hurt at somewhere. Like he's clearly worn down and he's dealing with some stuff. And then Robert Williams, they're saying like they had to like inject his knee and like the Celtics doctors are having to tell him he can't make it worse by playing on it. Like he's clearly not 100%, but is giving the Celtics everything he has. Like, I mean, I don't even know if there's an argument to be made that they aren't worn down, but I think that's the thing is, the finals, this is something I know Richard Jefferson was talking about it in regards to the NBA regular season in terms of like endurance and how much are we like, some of this should be about the team that can stay healthy, the team that can put in the work to like make sure that they're ready to capitalize on these situations. And by not ending those series quicker, the Celtics they cost themselves some extra wear and tear in some of those series. And like this is part of the finals. This has always been part of the finals as teams get worn down by the finals, especially with the way that defense is played now, with how much switching is involved. It's just a more physically taxing games, I think, especially on your lower legs. And I think we do see guys run out of gas, especially more in recent years. And the guys that don't are really the difference makers.
Watching the Celtics perform just makes me more clear. If you play hard all year, this part of the year shouldn't be that hard for you. Like the Warriors offense is the same all year. Andrew Wiggins has never played this much in a season. Gary Payton II has never played this much in a season. Klay Thompson hadn't played in 2 damn years. They look fine because they play hard every game. I like what Udoka has been able to do with the Celtics, but you're right. They take games off in the playoffs. Like there were multiple times against the Heat, I was like, are they not playing tonight? And I think that I don't think they're out of gas, so to speak. I think Jason Tatum specifically, I just think he's worn down. He's always rolling his shoulder around. And so I think he's just more worn down than anything because he's playing harder than he's ever played, later than he's ever played. And I think that's what's starting to get to him. And that's got to be the reason for his percentage dives in almost every category.
Yeah, I think guys are losing their legs. You see it by this point in the year. And like you mentioned, like the shoulder thing and, like they're clearly just pretty banged up. And like, I do agree with what you said about Udoka. Like it just incredible job by a first year head coach. And clearly somebody that has been ready for this opportunity. It's like, as loath as I am to praise a Celtic, like it does show that, teams probably should be giving more chances to these guys with the great resumes as an assistant and see if there's some upside there versus, going with kind of the retread coaches that we've already seen fail a bunch of times. Not that those guys don't ever deserve second chances or anything. We saw Frank Vogel come in with the Lakers and like end up leading them to a title as well. So retreads can work out, but I am always sort of, it's the same thing I was saying during the Lakers coaching search about like, I always think that you're better off kind of taking a gamble on one of these guys with the promising resume that looks like they're ready to kind of take that next step versus like trying someone who already hasn't worked out at multiple stops.
So for the record, I'm going Warriors tonight. I think it's over tonight. We haven't even talked about Game 6 Clay. We haven't even talked about Game 6 Clay, so it's really over at this point. I think I saw a stat that the Warriors are 9-3 in Game 6s when Klay Thompson plays. So we'll see what happens. But what, Browner, you agree? You think Game 7? I know you probably want a Game 7, but Game 7?
This series has been far too unpredictable, but I do think the Warriors have figured them out. So I think the Warriors win tonight because, again, they've been 3-1. So they know we cannot just give away another game because, it's at home. So I think they take care of business tonight more than they actually are willing to fly back to San Francisco and play another game. So
if you're a Warriors fan, I wonder if you, like, I know you want to, like, win at home, but at this point, you just want to win. You don't want to get it over with if you're a Warriors fan. It don't matter. And nothing is more beautiful than watching Boston fans cry if they do lose tonight. So we can't let you go though, Harrison, because we haven't talked about Russell Westbrook yet. And it wouldn't be an interview with you without talking about Russell Westbrook because I don't know what to believe. I've talked about the podcast.
This is my purgatory. Like 1 week. Yeah, I'm trapped discussing Russell Westbrook. Yeah,
it's like 1 week he's out, he's gonna be gone. The next week, I think we're gonna keep him. Then Darvin Ham's like, I love him. But look, what is he supposed to say? And now it's posturing season. And now the Hornets still like we're still in the season. That's what's crazy. We're still in this season, and we cannot stop talking about next season. But where are we right now? What the hell is going on with Russell Westbrook? What the hell is going on in that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it on Twitter, and we were all joking around in the SSR Slack about it's like, what is Darvin Ham supposed to say with Russell Westbrook 15 feet away? And I forget who it was, but somebody was like, well, we've already seen he can't do any damage from that distance. Like, Darvin was safe. He could have said whatever he wanted. And so, yeah, I mean, what I've been maintaining sort of on our podcast at Silver Screen and Roll, which I've still been doing the last couple of weeks as we sort of transition, and in any writing or tweeting or whatever that I've done is, just like all of us, the Lakers front office, whether we agree with every decision that they make or not, like they have working eyeballs. They watched last season up close. They saw how it was behind the scenes. I refuse to believe that there's any way that they watched how last year went, both, on the court, off the court, in the locker room, in the film room, and that they're like, yeah, you know what? The only problem was Frank Vogel. We just needed another coach and the whole Russ experience is going to work. I just don't believe that they could actually believe that. And I think that as we get closer to the draft, as we get closer to Russell Westbrook's player option, they're going to find some deal. Some team is going to be willing to take on a big hit this year on their cap for longer term savings and getting off of longer term money that they don't want. I just like, we've seen him. Everybody says this contract is untradeable. We've seen him get traded 3 times on this contract with more years left on it. Like the idea that it's suddenly completely unmovable without multiple first round picks being attached, in the year it expires, just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe they end up not finding a deal, whatever. I refuse to believe that they're actually planning on just bringing him back and that this is their grand plan and that it's not just posturing and saying the right things until they get a deal done. I will not believe that Russell Westbrook is going, or really even consider what that will look like until like he is actually in training camp, like that he's going to be on the roster and what that would be like.
Then you better get ready. because
2 minutes, Browner. 2 minutes.
there is no trade partner for him. I think this is a situation where the league's looking at the Lakers and going, "You did this. We're not bailing you out." Because the only other real partner at that salary, because you're right, John Wall's contract got traded. Any contract can be traded, period. But look at the status of John Wall. Russell Westbrook doesn't want that. And so I don't think that there is a trade partner because he can always spoil the apple cart and go, I'm not doing that. So I think he's a Laker. I think they're going to have to figure it out. And I also think adding Rasheed Wallace to that coaching staff is going to make a massive difference. I really do.
I also do think that like Ham just gives off the impression, like at his opening thing, of a guy who's going to be better. Like Frank Vogel had strengths as a head coach, holding guys accountable and, dealing with someone who did not who was not naturally inclined to go along with what Frank Vogel was preaching. That was not one of his strengths, I think. Like we saw the success of the 2020 Lakers. That was a lot of guys that wanted to play the way that Frank wanted to play. So when he gave feedback, it was like, they were like, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what they want to do anyway. And the playing style that they were accustomed to. What Russ was being asked to do is not how he views himself. And I think that Darvin, seems like a guy who is going to be better. Like if anyone can reach Russ and hold him accountable at this stage of his career, after the way that last year went, like I do think that he would be a good pick for that. I just still, he can say like, he's got to be like Drew Holiday and like be our defensive stopper and whatever. Russ has never been that guy. I don't believe that he's going to be that guy this year. I think that they know that behind the scenes. There's no way that the front office did not witness how all of this went down last year. Russ has some control until his player option is due on the 30th. But once he opts in, the Lakers can do whatever they want in terms of a trade.
Well, I'm still hoping for a miracle that he doesn't opt in. But
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
You're listening to the 50,000-watt Powerhouse, bringing you the new generation of radio up and down all of California with a little bit of attitude. This is SoCal Sports Talk, the all-new and mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Ricketts. From Westville High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Jose Elementary School, Jacqueline Jordan. And from St. Joe Chavez Middle School, Zar Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
I thought I was okay. I had a degree, I had work experience. I should be able to provide for my kids. But they're just things that you don't plan on in life.
My husband got laid off and we are a family of 5.
My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I would ask the doctors, what can I do? And they would just say, just make sure she's eating. Our lives just changed completely. Thank God that we always had a plate of food.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Listen to the Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the Mightier1090.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of your University of San Diego baseball updates. Junior catcher Caleb Ricketts was named third-team All-American by Collegiate Baseball Newspaper last week. Ricketts led the West Coast Conference in hits with 85, home runs with 16, batting average with a .373, and slugging percentage with a .658. He was named West Coast Conference Player of the Year and Most Outstanding Player in the WCC tournament this season. He also finished as a Buster Posey Award semifinalist. Ricketts is the 43rd All-American in USD baseball history and the program's 10th player to earn WCC Player of the Year honors. The Toreros finished their season at 37-20. They made it to the NCAA regionals where they were eliminated by Vanderbilt in double elimination. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View. You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
What's going on to all the great friends that watch the show on television here on Cox Your View? What you're about to see will never be heard on radio, won't be seen on YouTube, no audio podcast. This is just for you here on Cox Your View.
Oh, shit. It's actually 6 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Hey, great friends. Those of you who are watching on Cox, on Channel 4 San Diego, Channel 4 Santa Barbara, or anywhere in Southern California on the Cox Your View network, we had been promoting for a long time Egg Fest down in Chula Vista. And on the weekend of, let's see, it was June 12th, Sunday, June 12th, that's when the event went down. So Grande Brown Man, let's show all of the Cox viewers what they missed. Did you guys have fun? This was a great event. I loved it.
More importantly, there was lots of food, lots and lots and lots of food.
Yeah. There were also a lot of listeners that came down.
A lot of listeners, yeah.
A lot of listeners who live in the South Bay area that were like, hey, I knew you guys were going to be nearby, so I came over. And by the way, here's one thing that's interesting. Not only were there a lot of listeners, a lot of female listeners, which I thought was super cool. And what I hear from the ladies is, I love it when you guys talk sports, but I really love it even more when you guys aren't talking sports.
Yeah, it's when you bring, this much sex appeal to a show, you get a different audience, Scott,
Facts.
I know.
Facts.
Sexy.
I mean, look at these three mugs,
Totally.
That saying face for radio doesn't apply here.
Hey, there was one lady that showed up, 62 years old, white woman. All she wanted to do was talk about how Browner's her boyfriend. And I'm like, see, Brown? I'm like, this is your demo, man.
That's right.
Alex, show us, what are we going to take a look at? So this is exclusive for Cox. I mean, we'll talk about this on air, but this is stuff you're only going to see here on Cox Channel 4 in Your View. What are we going to look at here first, Alex?
What do you want to look at first? You have Browner being a drone videographer. You have pictures of food. You have we talked to Brian after.
All right, let's do this. Let's start off with food, because that's what Egg Fest was really all about. It was all about the food, right? So what are you going to show us here? Let's take a look.
This stole the show, right? I mean, you gotta.
Right. Yeah. Pig on the big green egg, which, to me doesn't look great, but it was pretty damn good. No, it doesn't look good.
Oh, it looks, when I walked in, that was the first thing I saw. I walked in to the left. This guy had that big green egg wide open. I was like, well, I know where I'm camping. This is where I'm going right here.
I couldn't eat it, man. It was too much. It was too close to looking like a real pig, man.
Well, it was a real pig.
It was a real pig.
I like to eat my food anonymously. I don't like it. I don't like to look at it and then put it in my mouth. I couldn't do that.
When I get a burger, it's just a burger.
Right.
I need to see the cow that it came from.
Bro.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't eat it, man.
Any other Any other food shots that we should take a look at? Because you like the pig. We didn't really love the pig.
Did you guys end up trying the bacon wrapped Oreo?
I did not try the bacon wrapped Oreo, but I think on the right side here, there's a bacon wrapped piece of chicken. Is that what that is?
No, it was a pork belly.
Oh, that's the pork belly. Oh, and what's that little sandwich you got going there?
Pulled pork sandwich.
Dude, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
That looks really good.
You know what's funny is that this whole time you just keep going from tent to tent to tent to tent, eating. I didn't take any pictures at all. Like the only reason I took a picture of the bacon wrapped Oreo was because I was going to text it to my lady. I was like, dude, they got bacon wrapped Oreos here.
You said they were pretty bomb though.
Okay, so it's really it was confusing. It really was confusing. You take a bite and your mouth is like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? And then the more you eat it, you're like, yeah, this is actually fantastic.
How about
bacon wrapped Oreo?
How about any pictures? Any pictures you got, Alex, of us with lots of listeners that were down? Because that was fun. That to me was a lot of fun. Hanging out with great friends. Oh, look at this crew right here. This is a great crew. Fat Tony's in the house. Tommy. This couple right here, they're wonderful. I love these two to my left. And then my friend Suzanne is on the far left. But this is a really wonderful couple, drinking beers, supporting. That was great. Anybody else? Oh, this lady right here. She works for the county of San Diego. What a sweetheart she is. She gave me her phone number. I went to text her to give her my phone number, and she gave me a landline. So I maybe I put the wrong phone number in. I don't know. Who else?
Girlfriend?
Oh, Browner's girlfriend. This woman. She's like, I love
boo?
Browner.
What's up, boo?
That's your girl, huh, Brown?
Yeah, that's my girl right there. Shout out.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. She gave me her Instagram.
Her husband
handle.
understand.
Her husband was like, I get it. That's Cheryl Delaney, by the way. Cheryl
Her husband
Delaney
was like, take her.
Hey, Alex, show us the video. I know I talked to Brian a little bit. He was super excited about how the day went down. Show us that video if you could. Let's take a look.
Yo, so we promoted Eggfest for a long time. And today, Brian Bushfield, what do you think?
Huge success. Big. Look at it. We got 20 chefs, 40 eggs.
20 chefs, 40 eggs. We're walking in circles.
Tailing off. We would have been here an hour ago. We couldn't have done this video. There were so many people. Beer garden, huge success.
Yeah, and we did so much of the promotion besides radio was exclusive on Cox. So for everybody that's watching on Cox, dude, way to come out and support. Nice.
Right. And I mean, if you're thinking about advertising, Scott, Kaplan and crew, Cox Cable, way to go.
Thank you for that. All right, instant.
Unsolicited. There you go. Thank you, Brian.
Unsolicited.
God, I'm fat. I got to lose weight. I need to lose.
Come on, man. That's what you saw.
Dude, I got to lose 15 to 20 pounds. Hey, look, bottom line is this. To all the Cox Your View viewers out there, we really appreciate your support. And we'll keep on doing this where there's just Cox exclusive content.
We are very proud to announce that the Mightier 1090 is SoCal's newest ESPN affiliate. Introducing the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. One of the largest radio stations in North America just got bigger and better. Joining forces with the worldwide leader of sports, ESPN. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
What keeps me coming back is just learning more about myself in the classroom, and as I learn more about myself, I can share more about myself with my students, and I can open up more and care more and love more and teach more by example.
Teaching is just one of those things that if you have a heart for it, you've found your place, and I have found my place. I get to help little people realize what it means to learn something for the first time, and that's something like reading that will be with them for the rest of their lives.
Still a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit surprised. You know, you don't go into teaching for awards, you go into teaching because you sincerely believe you can make a difference in young people's lives, and that's kind of what got me into the field in the first place.
We use our phones to order our food, catch a ride, share our stories, and so much more. SDCCU made banking from your mobile device easy too. You can do so much, get up-to-date account balances, check on pending deposits, transfer money, deposit checks, and more. Safely and securely all through the convenience of your smartphone. SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.